Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to What She Said. All right. So we have a good podcast. I planned a good podcast for tonight. Tonight we are diving into the combine. Why? Because some of the media seems to be making a fuss about Shedeur Sanders not working out at the combine. He's going to the combine, but they seem to be making a big deal that he's not working out, as if he's the only person to not work out at the combine. So we're going to talk about that tonight, and we're going to check your pulse, see how things are going first, see how everyone is doing. The beginning of the week. I feel like last week went by really fast, really fast. And we're back. It's Monday again. How's everybody doing? All right, so y'all know the drill. I'm going to turn on some music, put on a message. Welcome. Welcome to the conversation. Please do not be stingy with the like button. All right. Put on some music, vibe out real quick. This unwind. Long day. All right. Just gonna chill, gonna vibe out, see how everybody's doing. Wait for the squad to show up. We have a crew that typically shows up nightly. It changes from night to night, but without fail. And I'm gonna put my phone on Do Not Disturb. All right. So how's everybody doing tonight? Drop an emoji. Let me know how you're feeling. I'm good. Gonna ease into this podcast. Give everybody a moment to catch up. Listen to some music. All right. Let's talk about the combine. Does anybody know where the combine takes place? Oh, the game ain't shown up yet, so I'm gonna just put it on out there for you. All right. The combine takes place in Indianapolis, Indiana, in Lucas Oil Stadium. It's where the Indianapolis Colts play. If you've been there before, raise your hand. I've never been to this stadium, but I saw photos of it. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. What some people don't understand about the combine, a little known fact, is the combine is not mandatory. It is not mandatory. You get invited. It is invitation only, but it is not mandatory for players. In fact, some GMs don't attend the event. And it could be because the event is not mandatory. So if you get invited and you opt out, it's no big deal, right? Because it's not mandatory. But over the years, as of recent, there have been some fuss when players opt out. So Marvin Harrison Jr. opted out. And people felt like he was hiding something. No. There's a pro day at his university. In fact, Colorado has a pro day coming up in April. So if there's a pro day at my university and I get invited to the combine and I opt out of the combine, it should be no big deal because I can work out at my pro days. Roughly the same type of event. The venue is what's different. Now, the combine is invite only, even though it's not mandatory. So if you don't get an invitation to the combine, you can't just show up and work out, right? So that's the difference. Whereas a pro day, if I go to Colorado, play football, participate in the pro day. Fun fact about the combine, it's a fan spectator event. And it's one of the reasons I believe that we're hearing more and more about the combine this year, because I feel like, in my personal opinion, for the NFL, it's a media event. In fact, it's free to register, but you have to use the NFL One Pass app. You just download it, you register, you can take up to 5 minors with you. Last year, there were 27,000 people at Lucas Oil Stadium to watch the combine. This year, there'll be a fan festival, different interactive events. In fact, you have to sign a waiver. So if you get hurt, hey, that's on you. So to me, this is a way for the NFL to keep the conversation going about football all year round. Because after the Super Bowl, I remember people saying they felt like they were having withdrawals because that's the last we're going to hear about football. No. In fact, just last weekend, the NFL partnered and sponsors the HBCU Legacy Bowl, which had an HBCU combine where the HBCU players worked out. Then they played their game at Tulane Stadium. That was just this past Saturday. And then here we go with the NFL combine. So there was the HBCU combine. Now there's the NFL combine. That starts this week. So it's a week-long event. We're going to hear about it every day. And there's a thought, a theory, if you will, that going to the combine is actually not as beneficial as you would think it is. In fact, when it comes to pro day versus the combine, players actually do better at pro day. Why? Familiarity. They're on their college campus. You're using their ball that they throw or catch with. They're actually in the confines of where they play their games. So they're familiar. They're using their equipment. They're working out. They're being measured. They're running drills where they play ball. And I think it was one player in particular, Jadeveon Clowney. I think that's his last name. I think he ran his time at the combine was not as good as it was at his pro day. He was clocked at a 4.43 at his pro day, and it was higher at the combine. So the question is, should you open yourself up to the combine if you know that historically people perform better at the pro day? That's the question. And I'm of the opinion, this is my theory. If you're in the top 5, you're already proven. You have already proven who you are. Remember, scouts go out to the universities all year long. Remember, there were 31 NFL execs and scouts at Colorado's first game. And they were out there every week from different teams. Every NFL team has scouts. And they all rotate and visit the universities throughout the season. They don't just go, okay, the season's over. The combine, I'm going to invite 329 people, and this is the only pool of people we're drawing from. No, it doesn't work like that. And not everybody that goes to the combine gets drafted. Roughly is 2/3. Some people work out at the combine and at their pro day. But someone in Shedeur's case, he's going to the combine and he's going to participate in the interviews so GMs get to know him. But he's likely just going to weigh in, measure. That's it. But then when he gets to pro day in the confines of Colorado and Boulder at CU, something we see every day now, that's where he's going to throw. And that's what's actually advisable. And here's why. Let's take Travis Hunter, right? So you got Travis Hunter. He's been out of the media for a minute, but he's coming back, negative press. He can use the combine to gain positive press after the negative press. He can use the combine to his advantage the same way the NFL is going to use the combine for their advantage. Marketing. What does Travis want to market? Not that he needs to. His two-way ability. So he can likely participate in the drills for cornerback on day one for cornerbacks and day one for wide receivers and show off his skill set and get his name back in the media, but this time in a positive light. So for him, it's branding, marketing, and hopefully maybe, but not necessarily, trying to convince the NFL that he could play two ways full time. I don't think that's what's going to come of that, but you never know. He just dropped his highlights. It's a reminder to us all of who he is. Brilliant timing, no accident. He's going to the combine. He'll work out likely cornerback, wide receiver, more good press. But see, this is the caveat. If any hiccups happen and he doesn't have a good day, maybe he's not 100% himself, they're going to talk about it and they're going to use it to pick him apart and slot him one way. And that's not what he wants. So for him, it's a gamble. It's a toss-up. If I can get good press out of it, get good branding out of it, sure, I should do it. But, if I can go to the combine and ball out and go to CU Pro Day and ball out, which he may or may not do, I don't know, then that's just a win-win for me. But if I have, like Jadeveon Clowney, if I have a not so good number and opportunity, if I didn't capitalize on it or if I didn't shine like they thought I should have, then they're going to use it to box me in. So it's a gamble, but it could be worth it if he gets the branding and the marketing out of it, because it's not like he's not going to get drafted. And when you're in the top 5, to be honest with you, you don't really even need the combine. This is really for players to have that one opportunity that they haven't had yet outside of film to prove themselves. Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders do not have anything to prove at all. That's why Shedeur is probably not throwing at the combine, and rather than throwing at his pro day. At his pro day, guess who he's throwing to? The receivers that we all wanted to see in the combine. LeJounte, Jimmy, Will Shepherd. So that's a plus for them too, because the quarterback that they always catch passes from will be at pro day. Now, with Travis, I don't know. And honestly, it really doesn't matter. I think if he shines at, which I expect him to, shines at the combine, that could be it for him. But again, if he goes to pro day, it's just more press, more positive press, more opportunity to brand. That's how you have to look at it. And for the players that didn't go, what do we see happening? Justin Mayers getting ready for pro day. Chidozie, BJ Green. Somebody said, don't forget about Shane Coates. I'm like, okay, he hasn't been on my radar, but we need to put him on there. Of course, Will Shepherd. BJ Green, Will Shepherd, Chidozie, Justin Mayers, Cameron Steele-McCrae. Those players are right now, they're training to get ready for pro day. I think they said it's about 3 weeks. So that's it in a nutshell in terms of, does it really matter if a player opts out? No. Like I said, Marvin Harrison Jr. opted out. Last year, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, I don't know, Brock Bowers. So big name players opt out of the combine. That's one. 2, so that's not unusual. So when you hear the media harping at that, it's a slow news day. 2, what you should do is put in the comments, these people opted out. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers, Marvin Harrison Jr., and they're all stars in the NFL. So yeah, you can clap back with that. But to me, it seems that some of the media doesn't like it. Why? Because they have less and less of the big stars to talk about. But that's less of an opportunity for them to pick you apart. See, that's what you have to understand. At Pro Day, you're set up to win because everything is what you're familiar to, your equipment, etc. That's not the case. That's not the case at the combine. But for players who were injured, like Jimmy, it's perfect for him to go to the combine and pro day. That's just more opportunity, just like the Shrine Bowl. So for him, it's a win-win as long as he performs well. Will Shepherd, he didn't get a combine invite, but he did get a pro day. But he's going to be out there with Jimmy, with LeJounte, with Shedeur. I mean, if Travis is not there, to be honest with you, it kind of works for the other guys because they get the opportunity to shine more, and not the media be so focused on Travis, because he really doesn't have to prove himself. like I said, you just don't want any setbacks if you're not 100% yourself and you don't perform as well. Because what's going to happen? We're going to hear about it from the day you work out at the combine through your pro day. And if you don't go to your pro day, we're going to hear about it all the way up until the NFL draft. So you want to make sure if you work out and participate in the drills and, you know, go to the combine, you want to make sure that you are your 100% best self. If you're sick, just go to your pro day. Because one thing we know about the media, they like to pounce. So that's my advice. Go to your pro day. Remember, it's not a bad look. Some GMs won't even be there. What if the team that maybe has the most interest in you, GM, is not even there? Pro day. All right. So that's how that goes. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so this might be a short live. We don't have the cast and crew tonight. If y'all have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I actually made a video. Let's see if I can find it. I actually put together a video. We'll see if we can find it. If not, we might dismiss early. I'm looking for this one video that I just made. Let's see. When I upload these videos, I can't really see what it is. So I don't really know if the one I'm looking at is the one that I actually want. Let's see. I have to look through it a little bit. I can't see it. Let me see if I can make this larger and if I can find it this way. It's the only way I'm going to find it. I had to make the screen larger so I could look at the thumbnail. It's actually a good video. It's not very long, but it just kind of gave you a gist of what takes place at the combine. And I had different people, like a compilation. So if I don't show it today, I guess I can show it tomorrow because I do not see it. Oh, I think I found it. Okay. All right. Yep, I think I found it. All right. So we'll just take a brief look at what's taking place at Pro Day so you all can kind of see. Now, Pro Day and the Combine, they pretty much have the same experiences. It's just in different venues for the most part. All right. So I did find it. All right, let's see if I can find it. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Kiel. Okay, Kiel, what I'm looking for is a video that I put together of, here it is. All right, so I put together a video of, you get to see like an experience of what people do at the combine. So going back to the beginning, what I was pretty much saying, the two stars that Colorado has, Travis and Shedeur. To be honest with you, these two stars are in the top 5, along with players like Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers, Marvin Harrison Jr. All players that opted out of the combine, so it's not unusual. To be honest, I heard the question, does Travis have anything to prove? No, he doesn't. Some people analysts think that he should go out here and light it up. I'm like, he can, but honestly, he doesn't have to. So Travis doesn't have anything to prove. Shedeur doesn't have anything to prove. Like I said, it's pretty much an opportunity for Travis to shine, get some positive press, and maybe some more brand deals from it. It's just branding and marketing for him. just like it is for the NFL. With the NFL making this an event, having 27,000 people last year, that broke a record. I'm sure they're expecting more this year. And they get your data because you have to register, and it's free. You cannot enter Lucas Oil Stadium without registering via that app, so they get your info. And you can bring 5 kids, so they make it fun. That's marketing and branding and builds interest in the NFL, and it continues the NFL conversation year round now, because you're going to go from the combine to pro day in beginning of April, and then 20 days later it's the draft. So it's just NFL all year round now. This is an event. Let's see what Kiel says. Happy Monday. Every team will have a scouting department at the combine, and most of the GM and the coaches. Yes, it did say that. It says some GMs don't attend. It looks like Jerry Jones is going to allow his new coach to do the media interviews, the national media. And then Mr. Jones himself, he has a bus apparently he travels with. He's going to be on his bus, so he's going to meet with the local reporters. So he'll have local reporter time. I already saw like the appointments that the GMs have with like the national media, and 3 teams didn't have representation at the time. It was Miami, Chicago, and Dallas. But Dallas has said they'll have their new coach. I don't know what's going on with Chicago and Miami. They might not be there. I don't know. Or they just not doing the podium with the national media. And some of those position coaches will be running those drills. Okay, good insight. So Travis and Shedeur have nothing to prove, but we know Travis is going. Cornerback and wide receiver, it looks like those are 2 different days, but it's back-to-back days. I think he'll shine. Once Travis steps on that field, he just lights it up. Shedeur, even though he opted out, the media does seem to be in their feelings about it, but they were in their feelings when Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't. They were questioning what did he have to hide. And to be honest with you, some people are saying that really this is a generational difference. This current generation opts out more than the past generation, but you know, with all of the film out here, digital highlights, everything, I mean, it kind of makes sense to go to your pro day and not necessarily so much work out at the combine where the media is waiting to pounce. And all of the media is not at your pro day. And it does seem historically it favors players at their pro day. So, but if you were injured half the season and you got an invite, now I would definitely take opportunity to go bowl game, pro day, combine if you get an invite. That's a different case scenario. But Shedeur will be doing interviews. So it's not like he's not going at all. He would just throw at Colorado, but he'll measure and interview at the combine. So it was said that Coach Prime ran a 4.2 at the combine 3 or 4 times. And then somebody said he got back in his limousine and went back home, I guess. So he showed up in the limo, ran whatever drill it was, and you know, did his time, his 40 consecutively of 4.2. And I asked the question, is there anyone at Colorado that is going to the NFL that believes that they can beat Coach Prime's 4.2 on a 40-yard dash? Nobody said yes, and one person said nobody's beating that. I think it was 400 Circle Media said nobody's beating Coach Prime's time. So that just goes to tell you, Coach Prime, you know, that's pretty good. I think if you run a 4.2 now, I think, you know, they'll probably be like, okay, I don't need to see anything else. Let's go. Because they love that top speed. So we saw, I don't know if y'all noticed, but that was Caleb Williams working out at his combine. I mean, at his pro day. And, you know, I saw Pat Mahomes working out at his pro day. This is Caleb. I think he threw, this was one of his deep passes. You know, this is good for Caleb. And I don't know who caught it, but y'all know how we have been seeing Shedeur and Cam Ward throwing these deep passes. Then we shot, look how comfortable Shedeur was throwing at Colorado. You know, you see Caleb outside. I think I saw Pat Mahomes at Tech. This is Michael Parsons. Of course, it's sped up. You know, Michael Parsons was impressive because of the weight that he was lifting. Again, this is his pro day. So again, it's not the combine. You know, this is the comfort of the university that he attended. I don't know if he went to Penn State or somewhere else, but this is Michael Parsons. You see everybody's around, cheering him on. And this is what you want. You want that familiarity. You don't want to be nervous. This is this Johnny Manziel, I think, or Baker Mayfield. I can't remember which one it was. Look at everybody standing on the wall. You see how they just have people standing and watching. Let me go back. All right, just pay attention to the surroundings, not so much as what's going on. Hey, Damon, welcome. So yeah, you get to see the people around Michael. You see all of these people, but he's in the comfort of his gym. There are people in the back that are cheering him on. That's the optimal environment, and that's actually what sets you up to win. This is not the case for the combine. It's not your equipment that you're used to setting. It's not your grounds. It's not your ball that you're throwing with, that you're catching with. It feels more like an actual evaluation, whereas look at all these people standing on the wall. Look at this. But he's in his facility that he's comfortable with. That's probably like nothing to him. How many times has he dropped back and thrown a pass at his university? Look at that. I mean, you can't beat that. That's Coach Prime. I just had a picture of Coach Prime with his hair curl. What did he say? It was dry, but it looked wet. So Coach Prime had curly hair. So I just put that on there. But do you see when they're at their university, it's just a different feel. So yeah, there is data and reporting to show that the players generally do better at the pro day than they do at the combine. Jadeveon Clowney was one person I gave you an example of. He ran a 4.4 at his pro day, but it was something else at his combine. So which one you think I'm gonna want people to see? So why go to the combine if you can go to your pro day? And it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory to go to the combine. These are different players. Now, I want to say something about the players I put in here outside of Shedeur. Well, we can start with Shedeur. Okay, if Travis and Shedeur are top 5, and this is my thought on this. Travis and Shedeur are top 5 players, right? I know the combine is not mandatory, but also a lot of the top 5 players do opt out. I've named them twice. Why waste invites on those players when they're already proven? Not that they shouldn't be invited, but there's at least 5 more invites that could have went out to guys like maybe Will Shepherd or maybe Cameron Simmer-Craig or maybe Chidozie. That's 3 right there. Or maybe Justin Mayers or BJ Green or Levanta Bentley or Shane Coates. I'm not saying strictly from Colorado. I'm saying if the combine matters that much and it's okay for players to opt out, it's not mandatory. And if the top 5 are already proven and we know that this is just a job interview, I mean, you gonna draft Shedeur. You gonna draft Travis. You gonna draft what's his name from Penn State, Abdul Carter. Why waste invites on them when you could give those invites to actually 5 other people that could benefit Will Shepherd from the opportunity to prove themselves? See, the combine is for you to prove yourself. Now, remember, scouts come to the university. Even after Baltimore lost that horrible ending to their season, what did the GM say? We've already moved on. I'm already looking at draft prospect film. So they've been looking at film. So if you've been looking at film since Baltimore lost to the Bills, what is the combine for? For me just to see you up close and personal? Now, I already know. I already know. So to me, Travis, Shedeur, Abdul Carter, I don't know who's 4 and 5. Oh, Cam Ward, 4 and 5. I don't know, Mason Graham or somebody else. You already know these guys are proven because you have film on them. You already know that they are your top 5. So why waste the combine invite on those players who likely gonna opt out and it's 5 more people that could win? That's just my opinion on how to do this more efficiently going forward. If the top 5 are automatic invites, they don't even need. Don't take that away from the other people that could go. Because there were so many other players that really could have gone. Not just from Colorado, other universities as well. Like BYU, they only had 1 invite. Now, maybe they could have had 2, 3, or 4. But the point is, when we have to start cutting, we have 5 over here that we could use. So that's all I'm saying. It could be more efficient if this is an event that we're going to keep using as a marketing event, and we want to really be fair and give people who need the opportunity. Because honestly, what is the message of the combine if the top 5 keep opting out year after year after year? How important is it? Then, so make it be about what it really is. Okay, the top 5, we appreciate y'all. If y'all want to show up and just do your interviews, cool. And that's a reward. You don't have to work out. But we're gonna give 5 more invites to people who wouldn't have had them, and give them the opportunity to complete a job interview that they normally wouldn't have. Make it be about the players that need to prove themselves. Travis don't need to prove himself. That's just marketing for him. That's just marketing. Abdul Carter don't need to prove himself. If he want to go, he can. But I promise you, if neither one of them have a decent day, if either one of them are off slightly, they're gonna talk about it. And then they're going to have to go to their pro day just to get the negativity off their back. So choose wisely. But for the NFL, make the combine be about what it is. Almost a last opportunity for players who need the exposure to get it. That's really what it should be. And that makes it fun for the fans too. And the other guys, they could just show up. Caroline said politics everywhere. Yeah, I think so too. Because I want you to understand, for the NFL, this is a marketing event now. And there's a fan festival. They care about the fact that they broke a record. This is something they can go, oh, wait a minute. Now we can talk about football all season. So after the Super Bowl, we go straight into the combine. After the last bowl game, and then after the combine, we go into pro day. Pro day, we go into the draft. Y'all know what happens after the draft. Mini camp. Then camp. You know what I mean? So this is an opportunity to have a full year calendar in front of the public, interactive, that the public can experience, because there's a fan experience. Like the whole Lucas Oil event is actually, imagine you didn't get to go to the Super Bowl, but you get to go to the combine and see who coming in next. Brilliant marketing. But that's what it is for the NFL. But let's make it about the players that need the opportunity and not the top 5 that we know for sure are going. So that's all I'm saying. It says scouts looking for a diamond in the rough. Right. Somebody that'll get his draft position up by having a good look at the combine. It's always a player that shows up. Exactly. So why not extend those 5 more invites to 5 more possible diamonds in the rough, rather than focusing on the top 5 who's continually opting out, because they're already proven. Make it be about finding the diamond in the rough, and you're gonna have all the fans showing up. But instead, what are we talking about? Oh, Shedeur is opting out like he's the bad guy. He's not the first one to opt out. The top 5 doesn't have anything to prove. They don't have anything to prove. Now there'll be fans, they're like, oh, Travis gonna be there. Cool. Go see Travis or whatever. But then there'll be fans that want to see, okay, people like to get football trading cards. They want to see who's possibly gonna be the next up and coming star. Use that opportunity to give out 5 more invites to deserving players at different universities that's probably not in the SEC, to more overlooked conferences, and make it be about finding the diamond in the rough. Well said, Kia. Well said. I like that. Hey, Caroline, it says, that's what I said. If Shedeur and throwing another buff could have went. Right. Look how mad that people are. If you know anything about what's going on in the NBA, All-Star Weekend, LeBron James at the last minute called in sick. He was supposed to play in the All-Star game. There was a first alternate, but he just called in sick. So they feel like he took an opportunity from the first alternate, or from somebody that could have went and played in his spot. I don't know who played, but a lot of people felt like he was blocking and they were upset about it because they felt like it was intentional, because you did this right before the game. You could have told us this yesterday. They could have scrambled and found somebody else. Maybe they could have got Giannis to play or something like that. So this is kind of the same thing. Now, I'm not hearing in the media go that route. They just, oh, Shedeur is opting out like it's a bad thing. But remember, they said the same thing during the Shrine Bowl. Remember when they were like, well, Shedeur is opting out. Remember, there were 3 teams that asked Shedeur not to play. Who were they? The Titans, and they want to trade their pick. The Browns, they probably might get scammed out of their pick and not get a quarterback anyway. And then what? The Giants. I said back then, so they're going to ask him to sit out, and what if they don't draft him or have no interest in drafting him? Then they kept the fans from experiencing Shedeur in the Shrine Bowl. So essentially, with Shedeur opting out, that invite could have went somewhere else. So I wholeheartedly agree with Caroline. I think the top 5 consistently opting out, just make it as part of the process. They are automatically invited because they are the top 5, right? Automatic invites, but we're going to reward 5 additional players. Make an event out of it. 5 players that otherwise wouldn't have gotten an invite will now get an invite. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I mean, if you're going to do it right. That's all I'm saying. So basically, the combine is changing. The older generation of athletes kind of look down upon the younger generation, like Marvin Harrison, Brock Bowers, and Shedeur Sanders, for opting out, questioning if they had something to hide. This was when Marvin Harrison opted out. Well, now with Shedeur opting out, they just mad because he get to make the decision for himself. Like he can't make his own decision, but they aren't asking, does he have anything to hide? Some of the media just doesn't respect his opportunity to make a decision. It's almost like they want Shedeur to beg the NFL. That's really the position they want him to be in. Like, he shouldn't be confident like Brock Bowers, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. You would think that Jaden Daniels didn't opt out. He did. Caleb Williams opted out. Brock Bowers, Marvin Harrison. I mean, you would think Shedeur was the first person, but it's because they want Shedeur to be in a subservient position. They want Shedeur to not feel he's as elite as he actually is. That's why they talking about this. It's not just because it's a slow news day. It's like, oh, he has the audacity to opt out. Like, he too good for the combine. I'm like, the combine is not even mandatory. But I bet they don't even really know that. Or they don't really care. It's just that Shedeur wants to make a decision. Some people just don't like confidence. That's just what it is. What is Coach Prime's philosophy? Don't allow my confidence to offend your insecurities. That's really what it is. They want him to be insecure about who he is and be out here second guessing himself and thinking, oh, I need to prove this. He doesn't have anything to prove. Travis don't have anything to prove either. I just know for Travis, this is positive press going forward. It's helpful to negate the negative that has occurred. We gonna talk about the elephant in the room. This is positive press. This is him going down that NFL path. This is marketing. This is branding. That's what it is. Do y'all really think, is there anybody in the comments who really thinks Travis balling out at the combine is going to change the minds of GMs and the NFL overall and say, you know what? You did such a good job at the combine, Travis. We're going to go ahead and let you play full-time both ways. Is there anybody out there that believes that that will be the outcome of the combine? Let me know. I'm serious. It's a real question. And if the answer is no, then it tells you that for Travis, positive press, marketing, and branding. That's it. So I'm going to wait for some of y'all to answer that question because that was a real question. Caroline said, hey, what she says, that's what I said. Shedeur is not throwing. Yeah, somebody else could have got it. Politics everywhere. Absolutely. It says some of these players that go to the combine, but not to, they go to the combine, but not the top 50 players to be picked in the draft. So the combine helps out a lot. It does. That's why I really believe that the invites to the top 5 need to go to players who could be the diamond in the rough. I think it helps if you've been injured, if you didn't get to play a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need to increase your draft stock, the top 5 players don't need an invite. They automatically invited. They don't need to prove anything. That's my whole point. It's 329 invites. So there's 325 people out there that actually could ball out and show what they got, but there's 5 that don't. There's 5 that don't. And those invites can go somewhere else. I do believe it's helpful. But if you Travis, I don't see it changing anybody's mind about you playing 2 ways. I mean, honestly, let's be real. Do y'all really believe, yes or no? Do you really believe Travis has anything to prove at the combine based on what it is that they do? I'm gonna wait for an answer. Do you really believe Travis has anything to prove? I don't think he needs to go out there and shock the world. What is there to shock the world about? We know who Travis Hunter is. Their stock drops too. Yes, Damon, it does. It does. That's why some of the players are like, look, I'll go to my pro day. One, where I'm more comfortable, my own equipment, my own setting, familiarity, comfortability, as opposed to something that feels kind of cold a little bit, and you just asked to perform like that. You know, like I said, it's a gamble. Because if you're not 100% yourself, or you don't live up to their expectations, not your expectations, their expectations, you're going to hear about it to your pro day. And if you don't go to your pro day, you're going to hear about it to the draft. I mean, we talking about national media, you know, local media. And what do you think the media's job is? Okay. To make a story out of it. Make it make sense. Travis Shedeur needs to go. Right. Travis Shedeur need to go to the combine. That's why, you know, for the people that said, oh, Travis needs to shock the world, Travis don't have to do anything. He gonna be Travis Hunter after the combine. He not changing their minds about him playing both ways because of the liability that could ensue if he gets injured on either side. They lose 2 players. That's really what that's about. James said, hello and good evening. You have NFL regulations and team regulations. Speed with pods. Speed with what? Speed with outpools. Your true height and weight. Oh, okay. Speed with pools. Speed without pools. Your true height and weight. All first round players are an investment that the league's making. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. However, it's not like they don't know who these players are. I mean, like I said, when Marvin Harrison Jr. set out, people asked, was he hiding something? People feel like if back then, and that wasn't that long ago, but when he came out, I remember distinctly, they were saying, is he hiding something? So they're like, have players been injured and they didn't say anything and this, that, and the other. But if they participate in a pro day, I don't see a big deal. We going from late February to early March. That's not a long time. So yeah, I do believe that the NFL is investing. But at the same time, if it's that important, why isn't the combine mandatory? It's not mandatory. It's just like, I'm gonna invite you. You can show up if you want to, and then all GMs don't show up. So if it's that serious, if it's really about the investment, then it should be mandatory. Not saying it actually should be, but in the case of making it about being an investment, that's what I'm saying. Black Bully could have went. That's what I'm saying. Other players could have gone, not just from Colorado. They could have picked. I'm sure there were 5 players they had to debate about. Those 5 players could have went, because I agree. I think this is about finding the diamond in the rough. That's what I think this is about. I think this is about, I know who you are. At this juncture, I know who Shedeur is. Travis, I know who Cam Ward is. I've been, scouts for NFL teams have been to these universities every week since the season started. It probably when they had those other, matter of fact, before the season started, before they had their first games, what did Coach Prime say? There are scouts at every practice. Remember, they said DJ McKinney made him some money in one of the first practices they had. So DJ McKinney already knows that he can go to the NFL. He just has to not just maintain, but show them that he can elevate if he hasn't hit his ceiling. So these scouts know who these players are. This is, to me, I agree, finding a diamond in the rough. Block Bully could have went. Yep, he could have. It says, if I am an owner, I get input from director of player development, GM, coaches. And that's true. That's true. That's true. What did Coach Prime say? When they were getting close to that last OSU game, Coach Prime said, okay, what you going to do now? Because this almost over with. He said the NFL check's going to stop. It's going to be time to move out. Where you moving to? I remember distinctly. He said, you moving to your mom's house, your dad's house, where you going? You're going to live with your parents. You're going to live with your girlfriend. In other words, this experience is over. He said, some of y'all are going to call me and say, hey, coach, can you talk to this team for me? Can you talk to that team for me? He said, instead of asking me to talk to a team for you, why not use all of these opportunities, these games, and these practices to speak for yourself? So he's right. I'm sure there are going to be people relying on Coach Prime to talk to a team on their behalf because, if they go to the combine and it don't go good, or if they didn't go to the combine and they went to the pro day and maybe it made good, or maybe they didn't make it or something like that. I see what he's saying. So, that's going to happen. And that's when they say, Coach Prime, can you talk to so-and-so for me? That's what James is saying when he says director of player development, GMs, coaches. That's why Coach Prime know everybody. Everybody. Think about it. Colorado went 4-8 in year one, and we still had 4 walk-ons. That is unheard of for a team with only winning 4 games. And we still had 4 walk-ons. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that was Coach Prime. And matter of fact, there was news that came out today about Xavier Weaver. I didn't realize it, but he missed, how many games did he play in? He had like what they call an oblique injury over here on the side. So he got to now step up and prove that he can be productive because he's been hampered with an injury. So, Coach Prime can get you through the door or get you the interview, but you got to do the rest. So, I wish Xavier Weaver really well, because this is where on paper teams are making decisions like Matthew Stafford. People are trying to figure out where he's going to go if he hasn't been traded already. Matthew Stafford is 37, a 37-year-old quarterback, and you want to continue to play, but the team you've played for that you took to the Super Bowl is like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. Why you think they can't do it? Because he's 37. Everybody ain't Tom Brady. That he going to play till he 40, 41, 42? So now he has to figure out, if I go to another team, what am I going to accept? Is he going to get a big wad of cash? I don't know. It could be a team like Tennessee. Maybe they're like, well, he took them to the Super Bowl, so maybe he could take us and they get him as a veteran. I don't know if they're going to pay him $100 million like it seems that the Falcons did Kirk Cousins, but it's possible. But the point is, he is 37, so I don't know what your expectations are for such a physical game. But that's where he is. Then yesterday we talked about the players who got drafted with Lamar Jackson. One of the players' names that I mentioned was Josh Rosen, who went to UCLA. And I was like, why have I not heard his name? Like, where has he been? And he looked like he completed his 4-year contract. And I don't know if there was a 5th-year option I think there was a 5th-year option when they went out. So he might be with Minnesota now. One report said he was cut from the Browns and that was it. So I don't really know where he is. Maybe he's in flux. So after you've been in the league for 4 years, you get cut for a team. Maybe somebody else picks you up. Maybe not. Maybe your 5th-year option doesn't happen. I don't know. That's why I say you got to be careful with your money. But there are players out there, this is the moment that they have to prove themselves. You know why? Because you have an entire class getting ready to be evaluated. And it's only 200 and 57, 59 of them out of 329 are going to make it. And then remember, they're going to pick some people from these pro days too. Understand that. What does Travis have to prove? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I saw Travis Heisman highlight video and was reminded of how, right, exactly. And then he just dropped a new highlight reel, which, has some of the same plays, but I feel like it went all the way back to high school. Jackson State and Colorado. Some of that I'm sure was included in this. And honestly, he don't have anything to prove. That's why I said for him, this is more about marketing, branding, and getting positive press, letting people see who Travis is as a person. So Travis actually could go to the combine and, just like Shedeur, measure, weigh, and do interviews only. I think Shedeur said, he want to do the interviews so the GMs could get to know him. That's what I think Travis could focus on. But, I just say, let's make sure, hope it goes well for him, which I would not expect it to. But, it said no, but what they're going to see, do you have a recovery speed, his break on the ball? Because all of those wide receivers, even A.J. Brown said that they going to take the top off. When he come out there, I did hear that A.J. Brown was talking trash about where Travis is concerned. Travis don't look like he's that much bigger than a lot of like we see in the other players gain weight, stock up, and maybe I don't know if he should or shouldn't, because maybe it would affect his speed. But I was watching him. I was looking at him when he was with Cameron Silver-Craig running on the treadmill. He didn't look that much bigger. Now he is bigger. He was bigger from year 1 at Colorado to year 2. But I don't see much difference between year 2 at Colorado and right now. And we see certain players that you could kind of like, when you look at number 77, Jordan Seaton, you could see the difference in the conditioning. So I don't know I know he's eating a lot, but I don't know what his weight, muscle mass type of strategy is. But he just doesn't look that much bigger to me, and I would expect him to start bulking up by now. But if anybody has any insight on Travis playing both ways, I don't know what his 40-yard dash speed is. He's rated high in the draft, like in the 90s. So I know he's fast. I know he can run. I don't know if it's a good idea for him to bulk up so much. I don't really know. But look at Javonta Smith. He's not that big of a guy. That was one of the knocks on him. He was 170 pounds or something like that. But he does well. He only plays one way, but he still does well. So I don't know what the strategy is for Travis in weight gain and muscle mass and stuff like that. It might be more about his endurance because he wants to play both ways. Hey, Regina, welcome. So we're just talking about the combine, the pluses, the minuses, the differences between the combine and pro day. Historically, it shows that pro day players do better at pro day than they do at the combine. The combine is not mandatory, and it is invite only, but it's still, even after invite only, it's not mandatory. But players do seem to prefer their pro day. Caroline said, it said $28 million Matt wants. Oh, Matt Stafford wants $28 million at the age of 37 for a quarterback in the NFL? You know me, I'm gonna look at something right fast. What? That's a lot of money. I'm gonna play this video so y'all can just keep watching it. This video is a combination of what goes on at pro days. I think I'm excited to watch the combine. I'm looking forward to seeing Travis. I'm looking forward to seeing Shedeur, Cam Ward. I haven't heard anything about Cam Ward, if he's opting out or if he's going to throw at Pro Day. Like I said, Shedeur said he just wants to focus on the interviews, which makes sense because this is where these GMs have to get to know you. Because why? They've had all of this information fed to them by the media. So he needs to meet them one-on-one. When he met Tennessee's GM one-on-one, the one thing that Tennessee's GM said is that, you know, he's very mature. I enjoyed talking to him. I look forward to talking to him again. I don't know if that was just TV talk or if he really felt that way. But the fact that he was like, he's more mature than I thought, that tells you, one, he doesn't know anything about him, because why? Shadeur's nickname is Grown. He hadn't done any research into him. He was just probably listening to what they talking about, which is why some of these media pundits are so negative, because they want to sway Shadeur's draft stock. Every day a new story. He's dropping in the draft. He's dropping in the draft. I don't even click on it. That's just the headline. But that's what their goal is. Because if the guy had done any research, knowing he was going to interview with Shedeur at the Shrine Bowl, think about it. We knew who Shedeur was going to interview with. Why? It was posted. And he had never done any research on him. Had he done any research on him, he would have known. His nickname is Grown. Anything beyond where he goes to school, how tall he is, and how many passes he's completed, you would have learned that. Shadeur's been on TV since he was a kid. When people talk, I listen. When you say somebody who we know publicly nickname is Grown and has been for decades, and you say, oh, you know, he's very mature, more mature than I thought he would have been. I'm like, okay, so that means you just told me your weakness. You don't do research. So Shadeur's gonna go in there and razzle and dazzle him and wow him with his personality. That's really what he needs to focus on. Why? Because that's the thing that's being pounced on in the media. His skills are undeniable, so there's nothing they could do to tear him down. The season's over. So that's what he needs to focus on, his interviews. To me, I think Travis drills will be good. I don't know if they're going to learn any more that they can from his highlight reels coming out to see you, knowing who he is. But his interviews, I think, will be good as well for them to see what his head is. I think that's important. Cam Ward, I've seen, in the short time I've been watching Cam Ward, I know exactly who he is as a quarterback. In fact, I took the time today to Google his college highlights and his stats. So I know his completion ratings from top to bottom. I know his QBR ratings. I know how many interceptions he's thrown in 5 minutes. And I've been watching his workout videos or him fishing with somebody. I'm not even a scout. And they have access to way more information, film, data than I do. If they do their work, they're going to see, you know, he's a good quarterback. I heard one analyst compare Cam Ward to Josh Rosen. I was like, what? So, of course, I'm comparing Josh Rosen and Cam Ward side by side, and I'm just looking. I said, now I know what he's trying to say. What did I say not too long ago in this podcast after talking about mentioning Rosen's name yesterday? Where he been? What he been up to? Because we don't hear about him. I said that yesterday. I said it again today. And they're trying to say that Cam Ward is going to come into the league and fizzle out. That's what they're trying to say. I'm like, well, I don't see that, just because Cam Ward has too much drive, too much ambition. And I remember when Josh Rosen was being discussed in the draft, because he was from Manhattan Beach, California. All of the talk was, did the NFL really want him because he's wealthy? He comes from a wealthy family. Therefore, would he really be driven enough to want to be in the NFL? One thing about it, Cam Ward is not Josh Rosen. Cam Ward is driven. I don't know if Josh Rosen is or not. I've never really heard him talk about him once he got to the league. So, but to me, the obvious difference of the socioeconomic status tells you that they're not the same person. And it does impact a player's performance and how driven they are. I know Cam Ward is driven. Listen to how he goes at Shedeur on these videos. He want them both to go to the Super Bowl, but he want to get his ring first. He told Shedeur something to the tune of, I guess that's what happens when you on a 9-win team. I'm like, are y'all really friends? But you know, that's just all in fun, right? So that's the deal. When people make statements like that and they don't really know who Cam Ward is, what they were trying to say is that they expect Cam Ward to fizzle out. There are people who expect Shedeur Sanders to be a bust. There are people, I've read articles, they expect Shedeur to go in the bottom of the first round like Lamar Jackson did. There are people who think he's going to fizzle out. I'm like, what have y'all been watching to even see this young man's character? The Kansas game alone, plus the Baylor game, those two games right there should have told you that this young man is determined to win. That's how you get to the Super Bowl. So he wants 25, $28 million. Oh yeah, Devonta Smith is tiny. Yeah, he's small, Carolina, and that's one of the knocks on him. But I watched him play in the Super Bowl. I was like, well, and I actually thought about Travis. And he actually had some good words for Travis, some encouragement. So I actually said to myself, well, we know as a receiver, Travis is good because, I mean, not in terms of skill, but size. If Devonta is, can take his team to the Super Bowl and win, and so did he with Alabama, Travis is good. This is the first draft I have seen in the last 10 years where the definite top 10 is a toss-up. It is a toss-up. It's on, but why do you think it's a toss-up, James? Because, again, I have in my phone right now a screenshot of a comment that a young man made after an analyst named Mel Kiper Jr. came out and said Shedeur is not what the NFL wants right now. He upset a lot of people with that. And somebody took the opportunity. I think the person who responded to the video, I screenshot it. He said, let me tell you why he's really saying that Shedeur is not what the NFL wants. He said it has nothing to do with Shedeur's skill set. He said what he is talking about is if Shedeur goes to one particular team and Cam Ward goes to one particular team, the teams that need quarterbacks, it changes the dynamic in the NFL when it comes to quarterbacks. I have said this before. I know it's recorded. I said 2025 is the year that the majority of the quarterbacks in the NFL will be black after the 2025 draft when Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Jalen Milroe are drafted. That is why you hear people trying to kick them out of the top and go to certain teams. Because remember the Super Bowl. Remember, this not the first Super Bowl with 2 black quarterbacks. This the second one. This not the first draft with 3 black quarterbacks. This the second one. Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, and whoever came out before CJ. Those 3. This is a repeat of that. So now you see the pattern. The Super Bowl repeating with 2 black quarterbacks. Had the Baltimore Ravens won, how many would they have been? All right. So that's the issue. So when you hear somebody trash Shedeur, understand it's because there are people who don't want to see a continual pattern of the top 3 quarterbacks in the drafts going forward all black. They don't want to see a repeat of the Super Bowl, 2 black quarterbacks, and then what would have happened this year if the Baltimore Ravens would have won? It would have been 4. That's where we are. I said this. I said the NFL is it's like a, what do you call it? A tug of war. I said the NFL is in a tug of war. There are people like from the old, not old school, but just old mentality, trying to make sure that Shedeur doesn't go here. Cam doesn't go here. Matter of fact, I'll read what he said. I'll read exactly what he said. Because I feel like he broke it down in terms of what teams are being or where the choices are. And as you can see, I know 2 of the teams I think he mentioned, the Giants and the Titans, would be where the tide turns, I think. Hold on one second. I'm going to read it. I have so many pictures in my phone and videos. It's crazy. Content. Let me go up. Here it is right here. All right. It says, is that the second one? Okay, let me go back one. Okay, y'all ready? I'm going to read this. All right, who's in here? Hit the like button. 12 people, 12 likes, please. 11. All right, it said, guys, you are focusing on the wrong things. When that person, he's talking about Mel Kiper Jr., when that person said Shedeur Sanders is not what the NFL is looking for right now, they are not talking about on the field activities. They're not talking about on the field activities. Let me give you some numbers. Of the 32 NFL teams, there are 16 white quarterbacks and how many? 15 black quarterbacks and one, which is Tua, who's a Samoan. So he's like in the middle. If Tua were black, it would be 16 and 16, but Tua is Samoan. So, but he is under the person of color, so he technically is 16 and 16, right down the middle. It says, so 16 white and 16 POC, persons of color. The league is balanced right now. Some more numbers. There are 8 divisions of 4 teams each. 6 of the 8 have 2 white QBs and 2 QBs of color in each. The remaining two teams have 3 whites and 1 black person. It said the other has 3 blacks and 1 white person. Is it a coincidence? I think not. The top 6 of 7 teams in this year's draft all have white QBs, except for Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, and you are beginning to hear the Cleveland chatter for Shedeur. Because if the Titans take Cam, now the balance is off. But if the Cleveland Browns take Shedeur, it's just an even swap 1-for-1 because Deshaun Watson is black, right? So in his scenario, what he's saying is if Shedeur goes to Cleveland, it's the same number. It's just a swap. But if Cam goes to the Titans, who currently have a white quarterback, then there's more black quarterbacks than white quarterbacks. It says it's just an even swap if Shedeur goes to Cleveland, 1-for-1. So they need Cleveland to take Shedeur or talk him down to Dallas. So again, it's a 1-for-1 with Zach. There is no Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, Carson Wentz for them to talk up out of the blue. They were expecting to talk up Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart, and Carson Beck, but they didn't perform well this year. So they have no justification to say that they should be 1, 2, and 3. We all know Beck stayed behind. Quinn Ewers looks like he's coming out in the 3rd round, they said, but it's still better than him going back to UT, supposedly. And then who was the other guy? Jackson Dart, Beck, Carson. Oh, Jackson Dart. Now that's the one. How many times have you heard me say they trying to move Jackson Dart up to the 1st round? Remember, it's Shedeur, Cam Shedeur, then Jalen Milroe, then Jackson Dart. But how many times have you heard me say they trying to move Jackson Dart up to the top? Now you see why. It says, so they have no justifications. They need another narrative for Cam or Shedeur to fall after the Titans take one of them at 1. So basically, they trying to say, if the Titans get Cam, Shedeur got to drop out to a team where it's just another swap. I don't even know what that would be. He said Zach with a H. I don't even know who that is. But do you understand what I'm saying about what it is he said? That's the comment that came out. That speaks to what I said. probably when school was in, because I already knew this, that this would be the year that the tide changes in terms of quarterbacks and black quarterbacks being the majority. So now when you hear all of this negativity, it should make sense to you, because what did I tell you about the GM who interviewed with Shedeur? He didn't really know who he was because he had never really looked into him, even though they asked him not to play. Same thing with the Giants. And what do you hear them saying? Oh, Shedeur probably not going to work for us. They putting it on Coach Prime. So now the Titans want to get rid of their pick, and now the Giants want to put it on Coach Prime. It's exactly for the reason that this person spelled out in this comment. That's exactly the reason. It said he played for the Cardinals, and then he played for the Dolphins. Josh is out of the league. So he is out. Okay. Because when I looked at Josh Rosen, it said he was cut by the Cleveland Browns. That's what it said. But then I saw something else that said the Minnesota Vikings, so I wasn't sure. But thank you for that, Kiel. It said, I agree with you about Seaton. His body, yeah, for sure has changed. Right. So if you watch like Well Off Media, or was it Reach the People Media, or any media that pretty much shows you the team on a daily basis, you can see these guys starting to bulk up. I can see Gibson, the wide receiver that came in from North Crowley from Fort Worth. You can see that I saw the change in him already. So that's what I'm saying. Kiel said you'll get an extension or a new contract, or you'll be on the franchise tag, or they'll release you. That's what NFL teams do. You'll get an extension or a new contract, or you'll be the franchise. I was going to ask you, did Matt Stafford, did he have the franchise tag at one point for the Rams and it's just expired? Or, but I think he wasn't. When was he drafted? In 2021? So probably not, huh? And if he didn't get it from the Rams, because don't you have to get the franchise tag from the team that you started with? Let me know if that's the case. Or where you played 5 years? Let me know, Kiel. It says when your projection of a league as a whole, when your projection of a league as a whole is predicted on the year's class as opposed to last year, it's not good. If it flips, who they gonna blame? Oh, I see. And you know what's funny about the quarterbacks? All right, so I had already looked at this. I was talking about this yesterday. When the college football season started in 2024, there was an article that was dropped by, I think, a major big box news company, right? And they were talking about ranking the quarterbacks going into 2024, right? Let me see if I can find it. It didn't turn out at all like they thought, which is what this guy was saying in the comments. ESPN 2024 QB predictions, college football. I've read this article. I've looked at this article so many times. And I think I first came by it when they started talking about the Heisman. I said, I want to see who was at the top of this list that's actually lived up to the hype, right? Okay, so this is who it was. Here it is right here. Ranking the top 10 college football quarterbacks going into the 2024 season, the season we just left. Guess who was number 1? Carson Beck. Number 2, Dylan Gabriel. Remember, he was a Heisman candidate on the stage with Shedeur, but now they say he going in round 3. I feel like he was, I ain't gonna say it. Quinn Ewers, number 3 from Texas, also supposed to be going in the 3rd round. Jalen Milroe, number 4 from Alabama, supposed to be the 4th quarterback, should be off the board. Number 5, Noah Fertitta for Arizona. I remember when we played Arizona. And then Jackson Dart, number 6, Ole Miss. Number 7, Jalen Daniels from Kansas. Remember the big guy from Kansas? I remember him. Number 8, Shedeur Sanders. Number 9, Cam Rising, Utah. Number 10, Cam Moore, Miami. So the number 8 and number 10 projected QBs going into 2024 are the number 1 and number 2 players in the draft. See how that works out? So the comment that I read the guy, he's spot on. He's spot on because, when you think about it, you see people fight for less. And the way some people seem to be coming at Shedeur, and it's not about his skills, that's how you know he's right. It's a head scratcher until you read that comment and you're like, oh, so this is what this is about. It's like a dog whistle. That's basically what Mel Kiper Jr. did. He put out a dog whistle about Shedeur. This is not what the NFL is looking for. Why wouldn't he be? He had the highest percentage in college football. Most of them were in the 60s. I looked. Shedeur was 74, I think. It says, if I were GM, I wouldn't listen to none of these media. I wouldn't either, but let's be real. Not everybody does. They do their work, do their own homework. It's so, yeah, I agree, Caroline. It said the media takes anything and try to make a story out of it. That's why I say the combine, I wouldn't. I would be right there at my pro day. Make anything out of a story. They made an article saying Shiloh needs to pick up a camera. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, and I saw it pop up again today, because I said Shiloh clapped back. And basically, Shiloh said, what y'all don't know what y'all saying is the amount of money that Bucky makes. He says probably going to be more than my rookie contract. And if Shiloh gets predicted to go in the later rounds, which is about $4 million, which I think is like the league minimum salary, meaning $1 million for a year, $900,000 for a year. He's right. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Stroud all went to the playoffs with less than spectacular teams. If Cam and Shedeur failed to accomplish the same as a rookie, who's getting blamed first? How they gonna get blamed anyway? And if they win, they're not gonna give them the credit. It's not like, I hope there's nobody out there waiting for them to say what I heard them say about Luka. I heard somebody say, oh, I apologize to the Lakers for the Luka trade. I heard somebody say, who else? I apologize to Jalen Hurts because the way they trashed Jalen Hurts. They apologized to Jalen Hurts. So when it comes to the media, like this Mel Kiper Jr. guy, I don't see him apologizing to Shedeur. Shedeur could take his team to a Super Bowl the first year, or get as far as Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud, or get to the playoffs and play opposite Cam Ward and it just be a ratings bonanza. He's not going to get the credit. Because if you could sit up and say out of your mouth, with old mentality, thinking Cam Shedeur is not what the NFL wants and he's one of the most sought after quarterbacks for his skill set, then what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's the kind of stuff that, to me, makes this league ugly. And it's people like that, they need to retire them because their mentality is outdated. You're not talking about his skill set. And what you're talking about comes from a place, from a hardened heart, and it's hatred. It's just hatred. And as football fans, we're not here for it. We're not here for it. In fact, there were people in the comments that say, I'm really concerned about this type of hatred towards Shedeur Sanders. There are people now that were annoyed with it, that are concerned about it because it seems to be malicious. And there's no place for this in sports. Oh, 400 Circle Media said I'm late. That's okay. Welcome. We just having a good conversation. It says Shedeur shouldn't be the guardrail for this 2025 class. This is why I say the draft is weak. We are not letting the media use Prime's children for punching bags. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Think about it. They want to, I heard people say no team should waste their first pick on Shedeur. I'm like, the man is the most sought. It's funny how football people know he's the one. Football people know not only is Shedeur Sanders a baller, right? In terms of his skill set, combined with his star power, it's a bonanza for any team that injects excitement into their organization. But there are organizations out there, that's not what they want. They want to go with the type of mentality that the guy, Mel Kiper Jr., wants to put forward and talk about somebody isn't what the NFL is looking for, even though they're the best quarterback out there, because of how he feels about people in general. And to me, ESPN, I don't know what network he on, it could be CBS. They need to put an end to that. They need to put an end to that, because that's just a dog whistle and it's just perpetuating racism. That's what it is. And I'm not here for it. What they're going to put on that whiteboard is a play, and he's going to have to figure it out. Mr. Ward and Mr. Shedeur, that's what those office coordinators are going to ask them. Right. You know, I watched Jalen Hurts. I watched Jalen Hurts do that. And I didn't know that that was a part of the process. I actually almost posted the video. I might still have it. So Jalen Hurts was in a room with a coach of some sorts or a coordinator. And they drew, just like Kiel said, on the whiteboard, a play. And then I'm looking at Jalen try to figure it out, right, in his mind before he's asked the question. And it's like he had already figured out what to do. And the guy turns to him and says, now, what would you do? And he told him, and the guy loved it. I had no idea that was a part of the process. I thought it was an ad, a commercial. I didn't know. So thank you for that insight, Kiel. That's exceptional. So I'm gonna go back and find that video and see if I can work it in a way that it's not an issue, you know, with copyright or something like that. But I didn't know that that was part of the process. I thought it was an ad. Jalen was spot on. So that's basically what you're saying. And the NFL doesn't want the repeat. What's that, Regina? The repeat? Kiel said college football, the NFL are world sports. People are faster, bigger, stronger, and they like money. Right. Exactly. Say that. Amen. It says, but you got me on a chat looking up NFL contract amounts and laughing at myself. No, that's what it's supposed to do. That's what the conversation is supposed to do. It's supposed to inspire you to get more involved and have a deeper understanding of the sport. Y'all see, sports is a passion for me. But I noticed, you know, I'm into two sports. And before this year, you know, I think last year is where I started to make the switch and watch less basketball. Last year, I didn't watch any men's basketball. That was, if you know me, that's unheard of. And then I started watching women's basketball. I told y'all what happened, how I felt about that, and the whole Angel Reese getting hurt. After that, I was out. After they cut Kaiser, I hung in there. Angel Reese got hurt. I was gone. I keep trying to look at it. I have favorite players, but I can't put my heart back into it. You know why? Because I know that racism was used as a marketing strategy, and I do not appreciate that. The talent has always been there, and Unrivaled has actually come along and shown that this could have been done from the jump. You could have advertised, you could have had sponsors, you could have paid these people well. You just chose not to. And that's why I can't participate. And I will not invest my money or my emotions or my time into that league, because it's not built on competitiveness. They have another agenda, and I'm not here for it. So yeah, that's good, Caroline. That's good. Oh, remember yesterday I talked about one of the players that was way at like the last person picked in the 7th round, and I said it was Brenda Rice, and I told y'all he went to Colorado. He wore number 2, and he transferred out when Coach Prime came in. And one of the reasons on the video back then it said he transferred out is because he wasn't happy at Colorado because he wasn't getting that kind of playing time. And some people's like, I bet it has something to do with Coach Prime. No, he just wasn't getting a lot of playing time. And he's Jerry Rice's son. So, of course, you know, he feel like he should get playing time because he's proven himself. So he goes to USC and he's there with Caleb at the same time. And a lot of these people know what round they're going into, and he proves it. So Jerry Rice was upset when his son got drafted. Now his son was not there that at the draft ceremony. I think he was at home. He got a phone call. A friend of his had lost his life, and he was like a pallbearer. So it was a sad day for him. But when he got that phone call, he was happy. Now, up until getting a phone call, the impression was, because people know people, he was supposed to go mid-round. Mid-round out of 7 is 3.5 to 4. So I'm thinking late third, early fourth round. And that's what they were looking for. So the third round goes by, fourth round goes by, fifth round goes by, sixth round goes by, and all of the seventh round, the last pick was Jerry Rice's son. So when I looked up his stats on one of the big box outlets, it was just status unknown, and there were absolutely no stats. But then I said, no, I know this man is out here somewhere. So I kept looking, right? Turns out he played for the Chargers. Again, I'm not sure of his status because it said unknown. And when it came to his contract, all of the columns were blank. But it looks like he played against Dallas. It looks like he played Justin Herbert was the quarterback. So he's somewhere. I just don't know where and what's really going on. But Jerry Rice let it be known he was not happy that his son was drafted dead last. He was not. So I'm telling y'all, some of these people already know where they're going. I never forget when Shedeur was at the NFL flag football game. Sauce Gardner was teasing with Shedeur, playing around. He said, man, you a quarterback. I know you know when you getting drafted. Y'all always know first. Shedeur was like, no, I don't know. I couldn't tell if Shedeur knew or didn't know. But they know. Travis knows. They all know. They might not know what position in that round, but they kind of know, especially the guys that's up there. And if Jerry Rice felt like he had the understanding that his son was going mid-round, his son got dropped to the 7th. I was like, I wonder why they did that. Because, Jerry Rice is a legend. And his son was good. Matter of fact, I think his son, remember when Carmani was at Colorado and he lined up against a player from USC and kind of beat him a little bit? I think that was Brendan Rice. I could be wrong. I have to go back and look. But I remember, I think Brendan Rice was there at the same time, but I'm not 100% certain. I got to go back and check. So with that being said, somebody who thought they were going mid-round got dropped to last. And his father was famous. And I was thinking, oh, God, I hope they don't do that to who. I was like, oh, don't do that. So to me, there are a faction of people, mostly analysts. If I say people, that's who I'm talking about, who want to see that for Shiloh, who believe that he not going to even make it in, not even the 7th round. I'm like, why on earth would you say that? Why on earth would you say that? But then they try to pick him apart at the Shrine Bowl. So maybe it was good. Maybe it was some type of protection for Shiloh that he didn't get invited to the combine, and he should just do what he's doing, focus on getting ready for the pro day. I kind of think that might be that hidden protection that sometimes we see, oh, I'm disappointed, I didn't get what I wanted, but then again, maybe if you'd have got it, it wouldn't have not worked for you. Maybe in a more familial environment is better off, where there's probably less bias. So that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Now that you kind of heard the story about what happened with Brendan Rice, his son, Jerry Rice is a legend. Do you kind of maybe see now that it's a good thing that Shiloh did not get invited to the combine, knowing full well that historically it shows that the players do better at pro day than they do at the combine? What do you think about that? Hidden blessing, a blessing that Shiloh did not get invited, now that we have more clarity, now that we can have more perspective, or I think he should have went. Let me know. Cleveland Raiders and Titans all good teams for Cam or Shedeur. Giants are not, and I can explain it to y'all at this point. Back to Daniel Jones, who people say is a bust. Yeah, they trying to figure out what team he's going to now, James. Herman said, good evening. What she said, family? Good evening, y'all. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Herman. Patrick Grant. Welcome, Patrick. I am glad to see you went live today. I'm definitely going to like and subscribe. Yay! We got a new person. We got a new supporter. Awesome, awesome. Y'all make Patrick feel welcome. Make Patrick feel welcome. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad you found us too. Awesome. Okay. All right. So let me see. I'm going back through the comments. It says, this is a copycat league. The heat is to win now. It should be. It should be. It should be. And that's what we were talking about yesterday too. Like, okay, Titans talking about trading, right? I think they're gonna get either they're gonna get Travis or they're gonna trade that pick. That's how I feel. Get Travis and keep Will Levis, or trade, and if they could trade Will Levis, I forgot what year Levis got drafted. We talked about it yesterday. All I remember is he's in the same position in money factor as Lamar Jackson's first contract, which was about $9 million. I think the Titans are either going to wise up and get Travis, who's what they refer to as a generational talent. But in order for Travis to be a generational talent in Tennessee, what does he have to do? Play both sides of the ball. If he's just a receiver, is he generational talent? If he's just a corner, is he generational talent? What makes him generational is that he can play at a high level, both sides of the ball, with a large amount of snaps and be okay. So if they pick him, they need to have that understanding. And I think that might be what they do, because see, if they don't, if they trade those picks and they still have a bad season, I already read that the Titans fans want Cam Ward. And secondly, I read this yesterday or early today. The Titan fan base said they will revolt if they don't get rid of Will Levis. Regina, you in Tennessee, let me know if that's true. The Titan fans, if y'all keep Will Levis and skip Cam Ward and skip Travis and just get some more picks, skip Abdul Carter, skip Shedeur Sanders, does it seem like the Titan fan base will revolt if Will Levis is still the quarterback next year? That's what I read from a fan. It said he was drafted by Detroit. He got in when he was in Detroit. Oh, okay. Oh, you talking about Matt Stafford. Okay. Thank you, Kiel. Okay. So I don't know if he's going to get $28 million. Herman said, you're right, because Jalen Hurts played superb in his first Super Bowl, but he still got negativity afterwards. Absolutely. You're not going to give Shedeur no props. They doing everything they can to tear him down. And I even read, one guy said, don't get me wrong, this was after an article I told y'all that's out, talking about Shedeur going to fall to the end of the first round or something ridiculous, or to the second round or something like that. This one guy said, I am by no means a fan of Coach Prime. I don't know why. He called him Deion Sanders. So that meant that go way back in the day. I am by no means a fan of Deion Sanders, but his son is a star, and y'all are crazy if you think he gonna still be there after the 10th pick. So even the fans that have issue with Coach Prime are standing up for Shedeur against the media and all of the hatred he's getting. You see? So even people that don't like Coach Prime are like, I'm objective enough to say his son is the best quarterback out there. And y'all crazy if you think he gonna fall below the 10th. That's what they're thinking. I'm like, y'all gotta stop. I had to keep myself from reading the trash that's out there, because that's what it is. Welcome, Heist and Moldy. If I said that wrong, I apologize. I don't know who that is. Let's see. Herman said the QB position is one of the pillars of the and the rise. Yep, absolutely, Herman. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what all of the hatred is about, because this is that year. This is that year. And it's all about what team they go to. Like the comment said, Cleveland is swap for swap, but the Titans will be gaining. The Giants, obviously, gaining. When they said Dallas, I think they meant Dak Prescott. That must be, it says Zach, but I think they meant Dak Prescott, unless his middle name is Zach or something. So I think they're saying if Shedeur goes and takes Dak Prescott place, it's just like him going to Cleveland, a swap. That's what they meant. It makes sense now. It didn't before. Milroe was supposed to be, before Kellen Moore came along, to the Saints. And I'm from New Orleans. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know about that. And now that they have Kellen Moore, I'm pretty sure I thought they would say something about an edge rusher. And I haven't seen his name associated with it yet. And I told y'all they trying to move folks around. So the fix does seem to be in. And there could be some teams on it, namely the Titans, depending on how they choose. And the Giants, they could actually be blocking what is getting ready to take place. So we're going to see. That's what, James, wasn't it you that said some people going to be surprised when they get drafted, what happens on draft day? And I said, yeah, and Ronnie was in the comment. Y'all know Ronnie Rivers, when she shows up, she was in the comments as part of the reply game. And she said the exact same thing. She sure did. That some people are really going to be surprised about what happens on draft day. I just want to see who get drafted from one school so I can go back and tie in all of these invites from the SEC to see how many of these people got drafted and where. Not just did they get drafted, but if the majority of them got drafted in the 7th round and the 6th round, y'all gonna hear from me. Because they was blocking. That's what they were doing. That's exactly what they was doing. Gotta check back. Okay, we'll see you later, Herman. Thank you. We'll see you next time. We appreciate you. Herman said you gotta get back to work. It said they don't like his father. This goes a long way back. Right, Kiel. But the man did say, I'm objective enough, even though feel how I feel about Deion Sanders, I'm objective enough to say his son is one of the best quarterbacks out there, and he's not going to be there after the 10th pick. I agree. So yeah, you're right. That's where that comes from. It says, I know exactly what you're saying. Shiloh is good. Yes, it's a blessing. Okay, good. So Caroline says she understands what I was saying when I was saying, now that we have a little insight into how, the differences between the combine and pro day in terms of how the players perform. Historically, they perform better at pro day. And then we see the media is there and we know that they pretty much just waiting to pounce, right? And that they can be brutal, especially when it comes to Shedeur and Shiloh, that it's actually a blessing that Shiloh did not get invited to pro day. So that's what Caroline was agreeing with. He got drafted last year with the Titans. Oh, Will Levis was last year? Okay, so he came out in the class with Jada Daniels. Regina, you talking about Will Levis being drafted in 24 with Jada Daniels and Caleb Williams? Let me know. If so, okay. All right. James said, if you all remember, Coach Coughlin, who was the head coach for the Giants with Eli Manning, have failed to restructure their offensive line ever since he left. Barkley and Jones went years behind that same line because the priority is not winning. That's exactly what it is, James. The priority is not winning. And we certainly don't want Cam Shedeur, Kyle McCord, Will Howard, or Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, or Dylan Gabriel dealing with that. You talking about a player like Will Howard that just won the Natty. I think it might be hard for him to go to a place that's just, the focus there's nothing being done to actually prioritize winning. That would frustrate me. Like when you're a superstar and you go somewhere, like imagine LeBron going to a team that's absolutely horrible and they don't get people around him and then they can move on and win championships. I mean, that would just hurt. Myles Garrett, prime example. That's why he wants out. He said the goal, he wants to win. He just said win. I don't even know if he said win a Super Bowl, but he said win. And that's exactly the mentality I'm talking about. Somebody that was a star coming into a team, and year after year after year, you know, your first 4 years in, they just not doing anything to prioritize winning. That's got to be difficult. Will Levis went round 2 last year with the Titans. He was 3 at the draft. He was there at the draft in person and was hurt going into the second round. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with him then. Because if they just got him last year, I don't know. Kiel, if you still in the comments, like, is it feasible for the Titans to move Will Levis if they just drafted him? James said Jones got injured, and if y'all know of Tyrod Taylor, I remember the name, the All-American who played at Virginia Tech and was mentored by Michael Vick, had his ribs broke being sacked that year behind the same line. You know, I think it's interesting. You know, I talked about this the other day, how these young black QBs keep getting behind these faulty O-line. And I told you, if you want to take down these quarterbacks, that's the only way to do it. It's the O-line, because you got to go through the O-line. And I told you, I side-eye O-line when this happens. I'm side-eyeing the Texans and what happened with C.J. Stroud this year. He already proved to us who he is. Bryce Young won the Heisman. He already proved to us who he was. And it's no coincidence that he all of a sudden coming back after being sacked 60 some odd times. The first year, in the first few games of this year, he saw that sack train coming right back around. He was sacked 4 times against the Saints alone, I think, at the beginning of this season. And then, you know, he sat back for a second and got past his PTSD, because I'm pretty sure that's what he had. Because even Shedeur said that's what you get when you been sacked 50 some odd times. Yeah. And I do think it is interesting that this only seems to be happening to these young quarterbacks that's coming in and starting. That's what I just think is interesting. I'd have to look at it. I know the most sacked quarterback was not a black quarterback, but I'd have to spend more time to look at, was he a veteran? Was he a rookie? Because the ones that I'm talking about, they get beat up pretty badly, even if it's just the media. Justin Fields, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud this year, talking about his sophomore slump, as if they want to normalize what was happening with the Texans. But C.J. showed us who he was. So, yeah, I probably have to spend more time doing some research on that, but I definitely have a theory. Definitely. And we're going to see how it goes this year. We're going to see. Yes, the Titans fan base will be upset if they don't get rid of Levis. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if they can. I don't know. Some people said, Kiel said yesterday when we talked about Shedeur possibly going to Dallas because of Dak's new contract, it puts them over Dallas over the salary cap, so they don't have the ability to move Dak without restructuring everybody's contract or something like that. So I want to understand, I would like to understand how different is it for the Titans, who just drafted Will Levis last year, to move away from him. Said, I spent 4 years right up the street from my house watching Daniel Jones of Duke win ACC championship. First team all ACC and throwing for how many, 3,000 yards? Really? Okay, so do you think it's more of him or the organization that he was in? Sorry, it was 2023. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Thank you, Regina. Regina said he got drafted in 23. I forgot who got drafted in 23. I have to think about it. Well, no, we don't want Shedeur going over there to the messed up O-line. Yeah, no, that's my worst fear. That's why he needs to be protected. And I feel like if he goes to Vegas, I don't think that kind of tomfoolery will take place, because y'all know Tom Brady's there. He don't play about Shedeur. Yes, I said on draft day it's gonna be some sad faces, a lot of disappointed people, right? I saw articles that said, Cam Ward's confident statement, because it was confident, basically saying that if the Titans don't draft him, it's their fault because he's going to line up against them at some point, which I'm sure he will. I saw an article, was it yesterday or today, that said that was a polarizing statement. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was just a very confident and accurate statement. If they don't draft a quarterback and either stick what they have or get a veteran, like if Aaron Rodgers or somebody, and it doesn't work out, their fan base is going to revolt because they tired of being in this position. I think, who was it said? The Giants. Well, we know the Carolina Panthers lowered their tickets to like $1 at one point because they couldn't get it together. I thought Kiel said the Giants, something happened with their fans and their ticket prices because they were kind of sending a message to ownership. And that's when the owners basically said, you got a year. In other words, he put those people on a clock, but I wouldn't have let them choose anything for me if I had to put them on a clock. Titans offense line needs some help. That's what Kiel was saying, Regina, that the Titans need too much to use the first pick. But to me, if you can get a quarterback, that's what you got to do. You got to start somewhere. And if you got an O-line issue, that's not your only pick. Use your second pick to get a solid, put an O-line together with the second or the third pick or something. It's not like Tennessee only has one pick. That's just the first pick. So to me, it seems like they're dancing around. Okay, we know we need to move off of Will Levis and we in the opportunity to do something great and get the first pick. Well, yeah, we just gonna keep this quarterback, sell out these picks and try to put a team around Will Levis. Now, why would they do something like that? We shall see. Levis stayed on his back a lot at this point in the season. Okay, so his O-line failed him. It said, nope, Mr. Sanders won't go to Dallas. Jerry does not want to play the luxury tax. He way over the cap. Okay, all right. That's what I think he meant by we're going to have to do some trading. And I told y'all yesterday, I felt like that statement was basically saying, yeah, it ain't going to happen. What I was saying, like a polite way of saying, yeah, that's not going to happen. That's what I felt like in New Orleans. That's what I exactly thought it was, so. It said he does not want to pay the luxury tax. He's already over the cap and he has to pay his defensive end soon. Oh, okay. And he's probably going to need that. So, all right. So that means the first pick, I still think if it's not Travis, it's traded. The question is, who would get it? If Dallas can't move with it, that means the Raiders and the Giants. So that's either going to be Cam or Shedeur. If the Titans pick Travis first, that means the Browns, the second pick. We know they're not picking a quarterback. They're not picking Travis. Myles Garrett is talking about leaving. They might decide, you know what, let me just get a whole lot of picks for this. And they might trade that pick again, Raiders or the Jets. And that's Cam or Shedeur. Then that's pick 3. Kiel said he actually believes the Giants are going to get a quarterback out the second round, and so do I. And I think they're going to try to get Jackson Dart. So what that means is by the time we get to the third pick, if they pick Jackson Dart, first QB off the board, there's going to be a lot of surprise people out here. It really is. And that means Cam or Shedeur, got to still go through a trade because the Patriots are 4th. They don't need a quarterback. Jacksonville, I think, is 5, and they don't need a quarterback. So that means Shedeur at pick 6. So, and then Cam is still out there possibly. So we're going to have to see as we get closer. Vince Young was the last black QB for the Titans, and he wasn't in Nashville long. Oh, okay. He went to UT. I remember that. I remember he went to UT. And what I remember distinctly, Houston was not happy that the Texans did not draft. I think it was the Texans at the time. I don't remember. But Houston was not happy that the Texans let Vince Young walk. They were not happy because they were like, this could have sold out all the tickets, the season tickets for a long time. And his situation just didn't. When he got to Tennessee, I think I remember some chatter. I don't remember what it was about. It's kind of blurry. But I didn't know how long he was there. But I do remember some things not going well. So He came from Texas. That's what I thought. Yep, he went to UT. Speaking of UT, they just got our newly hired running back coach. That's not Marshall Faulk. Anybody want to talk about that before we close out? Because I don't know. I tried to look for the person. 22 told us about it. Thomas Robinson, I think was the name. I didn't know we hired him, and apparently UT is where he is now. So UT making a lot of moves. They're getting they got director personnel from FAMU over to UT. They making some serious moves over there at UT. I'm like, oh, okay, UT, I see you. They got Colorado's newly hired running back coach. Thomas Robinson possibly was his name. He was with us for, I don't even know if he landed in Boulder yet, but they must have made him an offer he could refuse to Austin. So unless he's from there or he liked the weather better, but he went to UT. So shout out to UT. So y'all, we're gonna get ready to get out of here. This was an exceptional conversation, to be continued, obviously, in the culmination of the NFL draft. When y'all see comments, people dragging our players, Shedeur, Shiloh, or the two they drag the most, make sure y'all step in and correct them. Let them know that you see them. And like that guy said, I might not like his dad, but he's one heck of a quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. So, I don't chase comments too much, but every now and then, I give people the thumbs down when they start being hateful. So that's just how I do it. So we're going to get ready to get out of here. I have enjoyed y'all this evening. This conversation was exceptional, very engaging. Welcome to our new supporters. And I want to give a shout out to our members, Regina, Kiel, 400 Circle Media, James, and I don't know if Gracie was with us tonight. Gracie as well. And Regina, thank you for being a moderator and holding it down as well. Tennessee can trade him, but who will want him? He's only had 1 year experience unless you need a backup. I mean, honestly, what I was thinking when I saw he was drafted in the second round, that's pretty much what he should have been from the get-go, a backup. Because you don't pay your starting quarterbacks $9 billion unless you're Lamar Jackson and they trying to snub you. And, Lamar Jackson got his money now, but he had to earn it, but he shouldn't have had to because he also won the Heisman. Now, y'all see they did. Jaden Daniels was right. Won the Heisman, paid handsomely, came out number 2 after Caleb. And in my opinion, Jaden Daniels went to a better organization that obviously was hungry and ready to win, where Chicago said they need to fix Caleb Williams. I'm like, didn't he win a Heisman? What are you fixing? So God bless Caleb in Chicago. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But Jaden Daniels won, in my opinion, when it came down to the first and second QBs. So I hope that Shedeur and Cam Ward, since they're the top 2 QBs, are both fortunate to go to organizations that want to win just as much as Washington wants to win. That they have the priority to win. They spend the money to win. They get the right resources, put together the right game plan, get the right coaches, make the right play calling, and they trust their quarterbacks and they make winning a priority. That's my prayer for Cam and Shedeur. So have a good night, y'all. I will catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching What She Said.